Hey everybody, I'm Sam and I am not AI. This is Growing Older Gay and we are doing our weekly episode of Kitchen Table, episode 29 for the last day of August in 2025. This is my weekly check-in where I tell you what's going on at my kitchen table and we talk about what's going on at the kitchen tables of other LGBTQ plus folk. That is a big mouthful, it always is. So the first thing we always like to start with is our meme of the day. And today's meme simply says, our self-expression is not a threat. Now that seems pretty ambiguous, but what it's about directly is our self-expression as LGBTQ plus people, being out as gay, being out as trans, being out as lesbian, being out as whatever we are is not a threat to anyone. And while this really isn't a message that so much goes to our own communities, it goes to the rest of the world out there who seems to be locked in this weird, creepy culture war stuff. They seem to think we're a threat to them. They think we're out to get them, that we're out to take over the world, make everybody gay. And that just simply isn't the case. Couple of bullet points here in our deep dive. We are not waging the culture war. If you read, if you watch, if you look into any of the quote liberal or woke media, we aren't constantly front paging talking about culture war issues every minute of the day. If you go to Fox News on any day of the week, that's all the front page of their website's about. That's all they're about. And it's been that way for years. It's not us that are waging a culture war to the greater community. It is the scared, angry, resentful, hateful right who is waging culture wars pretty much against anybody who's not white and Christian. And that's just a fact. That's a fact. If you are that person, I'm sorry if that bends your nose or hurts your feelings, but just look around you and see who's fighting that culture war with you. Just be honest with yourself. The next thing is we are not hurting anyone. We are not hurting anyone by expressing who we are and being ourselves. Everyone talks about the gay agenda. Oh no, the gay agenda is doing this. The gay agenda is doing that. There's no agenda. There's no agenda. My agenda as a gay person is to have a happy life, to do well at my job, to come home to my husband who I love, and to have a quality life. We take care of ourselves in the way of health. We go out and have fun things. We go out to our community and we do events. Sounds like I just described the life and times of any heterosexual person. Yeah, the gay agenda. Ooh, scary. We should not turn down our volume is the next point to make in this. So if you are gay, you're out, maybe at your workplace, maybe out shopping at Walmart if you go there, which I do sometimes because even though it's kind of a maggot-infested place, they have good prices on stuff most of the time. And Target, I'm not very happy with either. And Costco, well, we like to go to Costco, but I'm getting into the weeds. Being out, don't turn down your volume. Wear those rainbow shoes. I do. Wear that rainbow shirt. You're not hurting anybody. And if somebody doesn't like to look at it, they don't have to look at it. And if they're worried about their kids, maybe they're worried about more than that. And that gets to a lot of the culture war stuff that these people are all bent out of shape. They're worried about their kids. They're trying to protect their children. From what? I mean, come on. Gay people have been in existence since the beginning of time. There's no more of them now as a percentage of the overall population as there has been in the past. Just heterosexual white Christians feel a lot more comfortable if we don't show it, if we turn our volume down. Well, we're not going to do that because we are who we are. And we deserve to be just as gay as they deserve to be white Christians. And they want to come knock on our doors and tell us about their church. That's fine. We get to wear a rainbow shirt. It's just how it goes. It's called freedom. When we live in a democracy and we have freedom and we are able to express ourselves in our voice, that's part of the price we pay. We don't get to agree with everybody around us. That's just the bottom line. The last part here is we should push forward through the noise proudly. And that really sort of is the envelope for all of this. We need to be proud of who we are, and there's no reason not to. We're not sinful. We're not nasty. We're not dirty. We're just trying to live our lives and have love and do good things for the people around us. That's that. That's all. So the next thing sort of getting off the end of this topic, in the news this week was a very big tragedy in Minnesota. Most people have seen that a shooter took their gun and they aimed it through the windows of a church and they killed some little children who were praying in that church. This is another shooting of innocent children or innocent people, but there's been a lot of these going on for the past decades, and I'm not going to beat into that whole political issue around that so much as the one that's forefront with this one, and that is that the person who is alleged to have done this is alleged to be a trans person. Culture wars, the right-wing media and right-wing pundits and right-wing celebrities, a lot of people that are big names on the right-wing side of things are all over this. They are blaming the trans person. Maybe it's the drugs they're on. Maybe it's just that mental illness that they have. Maybe it's whatever. They have moved off the Cracker Barrel and now they're on the trans shooter. And I just want to put a little bit of a shout out there to all of my trans friends, and I have many of them who I love dearly. This is not your fault. You did not do this. This is a person who had problems, and a lot of them, but they're not your problems. The community is not represented by this person any more than the community of all of the other shooters that are not trans is represented by them. You can't look at all of the other shooters and go, oh, heterosexual people, look, they shoot and kill people. Oh, look. And that just gets to the whole point of this. This is the first well-known shooting that a trans person's been involved in. And now it's the fault of that, where all of the other shootings that have been happening over the past couple of decades were what? Not trans people. And they were all different stripes of politics. Some don't have politics at all. Some are just wacky. And that's really the bottom line here, is this is a person that was very disturbed. They had problems. They are solely responsible for this tragedy. They made the decision to do this for whatever reasons. And I'm sure we're going to go down that road and find all of that out, just like we do with all of these shootings. In most cases, we find out what they were thinking, why they were thinking it, what happened to them to push them to the point where they thought this was the only choice. And I'm not going to go down that road with this. I mainly want to just give the message out there. If you're trans, continue to hold your head high, push forward through the noise proudly. You have nothing to be ashamed here. You didn't do this. This is not your fault. Please hold your head high. You deserve that. There's nothing wrong with you. This person had a problem that did this. And so there's that. Now, on to happier things. There is a new show coming to Netflix here just in another month or so. Boots on Netflix. Oh my God, that right-wing culture war cabal is going to go bonkers. They're going to hate this. Boots is a new gay military-themed 8-episode limited series starting on Netflix October 9th. It's set in the volatile 1990s era of the Marine Corps, where being gay in the military was still illegal. And it's a coming-of-age story that follows the journey of a closeted character, Cameron Cope, who's played by Miles Heiser, and his best friend, Ray McAfee, played by Liam O. And it's a story about them making their way through basic training together and all of the different things they have to navigate there and getting to know who they are and what they're about with the backdrop of the Marines. This is a story that's going to be something I think a lot of people in our community are going to be very interested in watching. And of course, we like the military sort of theme when it comes to, checking stuff out. All right, so now we're going to talk about an upcoming event, and I'm talking about Folsom Street Fair in San Francisco coming up on September 28th. Now, the Folsom Berlin is going on right now as I sit here and record this. I actually have some close friends who are at that event right now, and I'm so jealous. But the one that's in San Francisco is indeed the original Kink Street Fair. And it's going to be bigger this year than it was last year. Coming back from COVID, this event sort of got off to a slow start, and they've added some space. There are 7 stages, and they're even expanding sort of the kink themes that are going on. Now, this is a street fair. Almost anybody can walk in there and go to it. You don't have to buy a ticket, though they do take donations. This is people in gear, people having sex in the streets, anything and everything going on. They block off the entire neighborhood so that once you go in there, it's balls to the wall, free for all. And some of the biggest bars and clubs in the San Francisco area are right there within that zone. You got Mr. S Leather, and you've got the Pump House, the Powerhouse. I should know this, but that one's there, and the Eagle's not far away. And so this is just a really big event that I've been to. I absolutely had a ball. Now, the fair itself is only on the one Sunday, but if you go there, you want to get there like Friday, because there are other sideline events all weekend long. There is quite a few parties on Saturday night. There's the Magnitude Party, a big dance, sort of a rave style party. Then after the fair on Sunday night, there's the Deviance Party, which is a little bit more of a feely touchy thing, if you know what I'm saying. But there's all sorts of other events going on right in the neighborhood all around the fair. What I would suggest, if you've never been to it, you want to go, but what you want to do is try to get a hotel that's right down in that area where it's at. Don't stay far away, because getting to and from this is a bitch. You want to be right down where you can walk out of your hotel and walk straight into the fair. It makes it a lot more fun. And if you need to go home and change gear, clean up, do whatever, that's really easy to do. And most of the sideline parties and different events that are going on, Mr. S Leather always has a great little alleyway party. It's all within walking distance. You don't have to rent a car. And if you've never been there, you can fly into San Francisco Airport and you can take the train straight up right there to where the event is. And it's all within walking. It's great. It's absolutely fabulous. I don't get to go this year, but I've been before and it was just a lot of fun. But it's going to be bigger than it was. And now I'm repeating myself, but it's a great event if you've always wanted to go. The only weird thing about it is, because it is a community event, it's not just LGBTQ. There are straight people there, which is kind of hard to get used to, seeing straight people hanging around in this environment. And families have brought their kids too. And we've seen that. Kind of cringe, but it does happen. It is San Francisco. These people have open minds, but it's free to get in. There's no tickets to buy. Just get yourself a flight out to San Francisco, get yourself a hotel, and have some fun. So I'm going to touch on some health issues just a little bit, and this kind of goes down the reality and some of the facts about what goes on in our community sometimes at these big events, at some of the sex parties. We do have drug use out there. I don't personally use drugs. I'm sober for 8 years, but I have a lot of friends who either have been in the drug community or they are recovering from that. I've lost a lot of friends to drugs, meth in particular. One of the big problems with meth, especially when you get around the sex parties and the events and things like that, is sometimes get a little bit overamped. And overamped can lead to other conditions and psychological situations, which can lead you down the road of overdose. And so I just want to go down a list of some tips and things to sort of help yourself reel yourself in. And I have been in a situation back in the day where I was high as a kite, I was overamped, and this actually happened a few times, where I was convinced I was going to die. And it is the worst place to be, not knowing what to do and being in an environment that's not conducive to that. I learned some things, and this is a list of things that actually is from the San Francisco AIDS Foundation. And the first one is drink a lot of water. Drink electrolytes, Gatorade, anything that's got electrolytes in it, because one of the things that happens is you get dehydrated. Those drugs can really mess with you. One of the things that hydrating yourself, especially overhydrating yourself, can do is it helps dilute those drugs in your system. Now, yes, especially meth, it takes a long time for that to break down. That's why it's an 8-hour thing for most people if they just do it once. Eat some food if you can. Now, that's hard because you're not hungry. And sometimes you don't feel like food's a good idea, but food is going to also help dilute, it's going to absorb, and it's going to nourish your body, which helps sort of push it the other direction from being in that condition of really wrecked, right? The next thing is take a cool shower and find some cooling techniques like ice packs and things like that. Now, you may not be able to do that if you're out at a party or if you're not home, but find some way. Go to a bathroom, maybe take a friend there, get some cold water on your face. You need to cool yourself down, because when your temperature's up and you're sweating and you're going crazy, or a little bit of cold water or some ice packs can really help slow your heart rate down. It can help bring a little bit of calm. And in that way, if you've had an opportunity to learn how to do some deep breathing exercises and some meditative practice, it's a good opportunity to help reel yourself in that way. And this is one of the ways that when I was in that situation, I was able to really sort of mind over matter the situation and just slow my heart rate down with some deep, slow breathing. It takes a lot of work to do it because your mind just wants to race and take you here, take you there. And it's hard to stop and slow down, but breathing exercises and meditative practice can really go a long way to calming the psychological effects and bringing you down a little bit. The next one sort of ties in with that is change your environment. Because if you're high and you're having sort of a psychotic episode and you're overamping and you're not comfortable, you're not having a good time, being around people that aren't helping you with that is a bad, bad trip. You want to change your environment if you can. If you're in a hot, confined space, if you're around people that are really causing you a lot of angst, if they're giving you a bad time, if they are not helping your situation, get away from them somehow. It's not a good idea to be alone in this situation, but find a way to change your environment. Sometimes that can mean everything. Find somebody safe to be around. Get some fresh air. Get out of that hot, confined space, that motel room, that sex party, that event, whatever it is. Find some fresh air that might be cooler, but be in a safe space. Don't be alone. Go for a walk. Now, this is kind of like, oh, go for a walk. Go smell some flowers. Have a good time. Walk it off. That's another, if you're in a situation where you are able to do it, but again, stay safe. Don't walk off into the night all by yourself. You don't want to do that. Find some place that you can take a walk, even if you're just going around the same block over and over and over again. Spend some of that energy that's going on, that's too much energy. Now, this is kind of falling into a suggestion that my harm reduction friends talk about. And I'm not necessarily, I'll be honest with you, I'm not a big harm reduction fan. Well, I would tell you, stop doing meth. That's Sam's advice. If you're just going to be doing it, find another way to do your meth that's not going to overamp you so much. The needle's the worst way to go when it comes to that, because it just is. Try doing it in a different way. And I'm not going to list the different ways here. If you're into meth, you know what they are. And the last thing and the most important thing, if you are actually feeling like you're in an overdose situation, maybe you're losing consciousness, you're having chest pains, your heart just will not slow down, shortness of breath, seizures, or stroke symptoms, dial 911. It is better to go through the hassle, the embarrassment, and the train wreck of having to go to the hospital and the emergency room, maybe again. It's better to do that than die. And that really is why I'm going through this big dissertation here. I don't recommend doing meth. I have more friends than I can count on my hands who have died of a meth overdose. And I will have more because I live in this community. I live in the recovery community, and people relapse. They go out, they get sober for a while, they put their life back together, and then they get this idea that it's okay to do meth again. I've seen it more times than I want to. And so that's why I'm putting this out there. I know not everybody who's watching this has done meth or does meth, but if you are somebody who's struggling with it and you have had this situation where you're overamping or feeling like you're going to OD, these are tips. This again is from the San Francisco AIDS Foundation on social media. They have a lot of great tips, not only for this, but other stuff like this. And so that's our episode today, my friends. I love you so much. And we all need to stick together right now. This is a terrible time for our community with what's going on with all the culture wars. And it's gotten real this year because now the government is institutionalizing the culture wars. It's no longer just the angry maggots on Fox News and all of the right-wing echo chambers that are just screaming and yelling and crying like a bunch of children. They actually have somebody that has power to enact their justice, their retribution, their vengeance upon the rest of us who, again, just trying to live the gay agenda, which is have a good life, be healthy, have fun, and be loved. That's all we're trying to do. So just stick together out there. We are a tighter, more strong group if we are helping each other out. And that means gays helping trans people, lesbians helping gay men, and everybody working together. People that are immigrants, people that are minorities, whether they're gay or not, who are being put upon right now, we can band together with them and help them out too. We need to all fight together to get past this terrible era that we're living in. So with that, I invite you to follow us on social media. We have all 4 food groups there. Notice Twitter's not there. We don't do Twitter. We also have a Substack now, Growing Older Gay Substack. That is a place where I can do a quick rant about something. I can share my views, my opinions, although you do get it here. It's a little bit more in depth there. And of course, you can see our latest video right there, right here on our YouTube channel. You can also please subscribe to our YouTube channel right there. New channel, we need to get off the ground. Thank you for watching.